Welcome to this explainer. If you've been following sports at all lately, you're definitely aware of the absolute media frenzy surrounding the WNBA right now. But today, we're going to bypass all that noise. Instead, we're diving straight into the measurable, tangible ecosystem boom. We're talking hard data, academic research, and the long-term structural changes that prove this is way, way more than just a fleeting moment.
Okay, let's just dive right into the massive catalyst that kicked this all off. 2.7 million viewers. That is how many people tuned in to watch the Indiana Fever face the Chicago Sky, making it the most watched regular season WNBA game in 25 years. And it didn't actually stop there. The broadcast peaked at 3.1 million viewers. This single game acted as a massive spark, instantly pulling millions of eyes onto a league that had been steadily building its foundation for decades.
So let's unpack this viewership boom and really examine this record-breaking spark.
To really wrap your head around this cultural moment and how it completely shattered the existing viewership baselines, just think about the sheer discrepancy. We've got 2.7 million viewers tuning in for the Fever and Sky. Now compare that to the 1.3 million average for a premier matchup featuring back-to-back champions, the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty. The rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese literally more than doubled the audience of that premier game, and they were broadcast on the exact same network, ABC. It just goes to show that while the league's baseline viewership is already incredibly healthy, this specific rookie class injected a massive, massive boost into television ratings.
Now, moving on to quantifying this superstar effect, which honestly is a total data-driven masterclass. It's one thing to see crazy high TV ratings, but it's a whole other ballgame when academic economists start quantifying exactly how much value one player brings to the physical box office. The superstar effect measures how a single generational talent drives tangible market growth. Researchers recently published a deep dive in the Journal of Sports Economics analyzing game-level attendance from 1997 all the way to 2024. They basically wanted to answer one specific question. Is Caitlin Clark the first true WNBA superstar in a strict economic sense? To figure this out, they used advanced panel data sets to separate the baseline attendance from the direct impact of 27 identified star players over the league's entire history.
The raw numbers here are just wild. Caitlin Clark's presence alone is responsible for adding an estimated 7,900 fans to home games and 6,400 fans to away games. To put that into perspective, this completely blows past the individual attendance effects of reigning, three-time MVPs like A'ja Wilson or even her incredibly popular fellow rookie Angel Reese. This is pure, quantifiable demand generated by a single athlete on the physical ticket market.
Okay, so here is the absolute craziest part. Clark's attendance effect actually surpasses the historical impact that Michael Jordan had on NBA attendance. Economists have studied Jordan's road attendance impact for years, right? So discovering that a WNBA rookie is generating an even larger proportional external draw gives us undeniable proof of the massive scale of consumer behavior we're witnessing in women's professional sports right now.
But this goes way beyond the court. We're talking about a full-on ecosystem boom.
Because when millions of new fans tune in, they don't just watch the game, they buy into the whole shebang. A staggering 400,000 fans attended games in the single month of May alone. That pushed arena capacity across the league to 94%, marking the highest attended opening month for the WNBA in 26 years. This is the definition of a rising tide. Fans aren't just showing up for one player, they're packing arenas all across the country to experience the product firsthand.
And the commercial explosion is crystal clear across all the financial metrics. WNBA sellouts are up 156%. Merchandise sales have absolutely exploded, surging by 236%, with rookies totally dominating the top-selling jerseys. And perhaps most tellingly for the modern sports economy, betting handles have jumped over 150% year over year. Major sportsbooks and fantasy platforms are reporting massive surges in engagement, which proves that fans are emotionally and financially investing in the outcomes of these games at totally unprecedented levels.
And as we all know, a rising tide lifts all boats. Let's talk about unleashing the depth of this league.
Millions of new fans might be tuning in initially for the hype, but they're staying because the Encore product is deeper and more talented than ever before. This quote from Megan Gustafson perfectly captures the human element of this league-wide opportunity. She was a college national player of the year, but she spent 7 seasons as a role player in the WNBA. Now, she's thriving on an expansion team like the Portland Fire after signing a $1 million contract and recently dropped 22 points without missing a single shot. Expansion and increased attention are allowing previously overlooked players to finally step into the spotlight and prove they belong at the absolute highest level.
Then you add in the influx of elite international talent.
We're seeing players from France, like Pauline Astier, keeping championship contenders afloat. Serbia's Jovana Nogic shooting over 50% from three, and Lithuania's Justejo City making serious waves. Couple that massive global talent pool with a new collective bargaining agreement that adds 2 developmental roster spots per team, and you literally have an overflow of world-class talent. These developmental spots are a game changer. They allow young players to practice with the best, proving the league has the infrastructure and the sheer volume of talent to sustain this boom for the long haul.
So, where does this all lead? Let's take a look at the WNBA's expansive future.
The league isn't just sitting back and enjoying a good season. They are aggressively building the architecture for the future. The WNBA has laid down a hyper-aggressive expansion map backed by major billionaire ownership groups. Starting with the Golden State Valkyries in 2025, the map quickly rolls out to Toronto and Portland in 2026. Then, backed by heavyweights like Dan Gilbert and Tom Gores, the league pushes into Cleveland in 2028, Detroit in 2029, and Philadelphia in 2030. These aren't just hopes and dreams, guys. These are highly vetted, heavily capitalized ownership groups committing real money to the long-term viability of women's basketball.
This aggressive roadmap will literally transform the WNBA into an 18-team league. And honestly, this is the most crucial takeaway from all the data we've covered today. This isn't just a fleeting moment of media hype. The addition of new cities, new practice facilities, and new ownership groups represents a permanent structural evolution. The league is building the foundation to ensure that the attention brought by this generational rookie class is captured and monetized for decades to come.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought. Will this rapid, unprecedented growth permanently redefine the landscape of North American professional sports? We are literally watching attendance records fall, television networks scramble for rights, and billion-dollar expansion maps unfold right before our eyes. So ask yourself, are we simply watching a great season of basketball, or are we witnessing the permanent rewriting of the North American sports economy? Thanks for joining me today, and keep your eyes on the data.